Media hype? Check. A worldwide television audience? Check. 100,000 onlookers and a partying atmosphere? Check. All things that came together for daredevil Nik Wallenda's high-wire walk across Niagara Falls. But before any death-defying act could take place in front of a world holding its collective breath, there was the not-too-small matter of getting a wire strung across the divide between the United States and Canada in the first place. No wire, no walk. And there would be no walk without the skill and troubleshooting efforts of NECA contractor O'Connell Electric and a crew of linemen from IBEW Local 1249 from Syracuse. This team was charged with the task of doing something that had never been done before, suspending and stabilizing a 2-inch in diameter wire across the mouth of heavy myths and treacherous winds of Horseshoe Falls. Add to the mix that this specially designed wire weighed 7.5 pounds per foot. There's no best practices manual for crews to refer to when it comes to getting this job done. By the time the crews arrived on the scene early in the week preceding the Friday night walk, engineering and installation plans to accomplish Wallenda's dream had already been more than 10 months in the making. And to be honest, it was a job that took some getting used to.
We got a call from Nik there at the end of the month there, and at first, I'll be honest, I thought it was kind of a joke.
They said, this must be a joke. You know, who's ever gonna let someone walk across Niagara Falls on a rope?
Randy Fletcher called me up and told me about it, and I thought it was crazy.
After the "you've got to be kidding me" emotion subsided, it became clear that Wallenda's team, already 2 years into the permitting process, was serious about staging an unforgettable event.
We met Nik up here in January, I believe it was. Nik wasn't happy with where they had him crossing the gorge down further, coming across there. Nik wasn't happy with that because it wasn't dangerous enough. So we had planned, everything we had done up till January was planned based on down there. We had our equipment planned, and it was totally throw out everything we did there and start over here, get some different equipment, new plans, and go from there.
Since the walk began in one country and ended in another, there had to be simultaneous setups, yet each with its own set of critical elements. It was a case of the left hand, or the side of the river, must know exactly what the right hand, or side, is doing.
This life is in our hands, and it probably wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the training that we received from our apprenticeship and through the through the IBEW contractors, NECA and stuff. They helped us, and they actually trained us so we could have the knowledge to be able to pursue this and go the right route and get the right equipment here to do the job proper.
Since the specially designed wire was way too heavy for a helicopter to simply lift it across the divide, it was decided that the first step should be a chopper taking the rope from the Canadian side to the American side.
We're going to be anchored off on half that rope. It's going to be right to an anchor. Okay. If we have to, we'll cut it. You just tell me and we'll cut it.
Once across, the rope would be attached to the enormous spool and then pulled by machinery back to the Canadian side. But as the yellow rope was carefully being fed to the helicopter bucking the turbulent air over the falls, a snag developed in the rope, and the process came to a sudden stop.
It just got away from us a little bit, created a loop. The loop got caught. We had a little snag in the rope, so we didn't want that snag to go out and cause an issue a little later. So what we did is we stopped the pull. Fortunately, the helicopter was far enough over on the American side where they could land it a little shorter than we wanted to, but they could still land it. And we were able to catch the rope over on this side, cut it and put an I-splice in it, and we're just going to make it a little shorter.
Once Local 1249 crews had enough rope to begin the wire pull, the process began. Soon, though, another curveball.
We started up again, and the tensions that we were seeing coming back across lifted the back of the tensioner off the ground about 2 feet.
At this point, some observers began to wonder if the event, with all its millions of dollars in planning and worldwide promotion, would happen at all.
So we did a little ad-libbing there, and we applied our outriggers off our trucks onto those to keep that down.
After the tensioner holding the wire was safely anchored to Mother Earth on the American side, and the crane suspending the wire was readjusted to reduce tension, the wire pull resumed. And at 3:30 in the morning, Wallenda's specially made, expensive and heavy wire made it over to the bank on the Canadian side. About 6 hours after that, it was safely and successfully pinned down on Canadian soil.
It was touch and go. Once we were halfway out on the gorge, I was a little nervous that we were going to get this thing across there. And once we re-rigged it, everybody thought through. I mean, we got a great crew up here that I couldn't say enough good about these guys. We all worked through the situation. Might have taken a few extra hours, but it was all dealt with and it was all done safely.
These are the guys that string cables between canyons all day long. They can do it in their sleep. So why would we not reach out to the IBEW and NECA and get their opinion of who we should use in the area? It was very important to us that we used a local company.
With the wire across, the work was still not done. Wallenda's precarious path still had to be stabilized somehow to minimize its bouncing and rolling. The crew rolled out on the wire in baskets to hang strategically placed pipes that would act as pendulums to weigh down the wire. Local 1249 linemen got to get a taste of what Nik's journey across the falls would feel like.
Just picture being sprayed with a fire hose, pretty much. I mean, the wind, you're all over with the wind, and then the mist was almost, you taste it. It was that thick.
This is what it looks like from above, Niagara Falls. There's the Canadian side. There's our wire.
It was just an amazing feeling to be able to pull this wire across, go out there in that basket, and definitely have a newfound respect for that man for walking across.
We were fighting for the chance to go out. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience to be able to go out and have a different view of the falls right over the top of it. Not too many people get the chance to do that.
With the wire work done and safety checks made, the following night was showtime.
The first thought came to me when I was about 6 years old. My parents were performing in Buffalo, New York, and they brought me and my sister down to see the falls. And I remember looking across and thinking, how cool would it be to walk a wire across Niagara Falls? It sounds strange, but 200 years and 7 generations, it's sort of in the blood.
Wallenda's journey would take him 20 stories above Niagara's Horseshoe Falls.
I get in the zone. And I'm focused on what I'm doing, and that's it. All my attention is focused right there on that wire and nothing else. Everything else pretty much zones out, and it's me and that wire in our own world.
With 700,000 gallons of water tumbling over the falls every second and falling at 70 miles an hour, the air above the river created its own micro-weather system of mist, rain, and swirling heavy winds.
Fear does not come into play, just like IBEW workers. When they work, when they're running out string and power lines and they're way up in the air on these carts, I doubt any of them are fearful either. And it comes with time and experience. I'm sure if you asked any one of those guys, they'd say, well, when I first got up there, yeah, it was scary, but you become accustomed to that thing. I've walked a wire since I was 2 years old, and because of that, I'm very accustomed to it, but I respect it. Again, just like the guys, they respect their work. They respect that line is got power running through it. And it's really that. It's about paying respect, the proper respect to what I'm doing.
Then, around 25 minutes after he started, Nik Wallenda went into the history books in front of a cheering crowd and a worldwide audience. With hugs from family and friends now replacing the fierce grip of wind and rain over Horseshoe Falls, the famous wire walker exulted in his achievement.
I can't thank them enough. These are the guys that they're helping make my dream come true. And also, you know, I think it's probably exciting for them, but they're a part of history. It's clear that we're making history here.
And as tens of thousands of witnesses retreated into the night, there was one group that was staying behind.
We take it all back down starting tonight.
I guess a lineman's work is never done. That'll do it for this edition of Electric TV, but before we go, we'd like to give special thanks to Tom Parks with O'Connell Electric and Angela Berti with the New York State Parks Department, and especially to Local 1249 Foreman Randy Fletcher, Dennis Morgan, and their entire crew. Pretty much adopted us during the long and very eventful week. Finally, we tried our best to give you a condensed version of the efforts of Local 1249 and O'Connell Electric, but to hear more technical explanations of the challenges they've faced, head on over to our YouTube page, where you'll find extended interviews with the men and women who made it all happen. We'll see you next time, right back here on Electric TV.